Hey, you are now a month into first year foundations. Congratulations. Welcome to week 4. All right, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm sure now you have papers and other things and commitments that you're worried about. So I want to talk a little bit about organization. I'll show you my workspace in a minute, and obviously I don't need you or want you to copy my workspace, but I think there are a few ideas that are helpful that I've found over the years, and I'll talk about that. And those are primarily the questions I'm going to put on the website this week. Also, I want to talk about 2 great ways to organize yourself, your time, and get more work done. And the first is called the WOOP method, WOOP. And just so I don't mess this up, I'm going to make sure I read it correctly. So it stands for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, and Plan. That's something else I'm going to ask you about on the website. And so a wish could be like, I want to get all A's, right? An outcome is the actual thing, usually more specifically, right? So you might say, I want to be a great student, and the specific outcome might be, I want an A on this paper that I'm working on that's due next week. And so that would be the outcome, is an A on your paper that's due next week. And an obstacle might be, I have 2 other tests that I'm worried about, or I'm traveling for my athletics team, or whatever the case may be, right? So these are obstacles that might prevent you, and there may be many obstacles, or there may be just 1 or 2 that may prevent you from getting an A on your paper next week. And so you want to think about what those are, and then you want to come up with a plan to overcome those obstacles. And this seems so super basic, but if you actually write this down as opposed to just kind of think about it now and then, it will make a huge difference in how successful you are. So think about that. I want you to choose something that's coming up in a week or 2 and use that, but you can use this as many times as you want. It helps you in so many ways. Sometimes I literally write this down and I do it, and a lot of the time now I think in the back of my mind, I convert something that I want into that wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan, because it makes it much more likely that you will reach the outcome that you desire. So anyway, try it out. You'll think maybe it's stupid and it seems kind of infantile, but if you do it and realize that it works, you'll start doing it more and more, and I bet you that will happen. So that's WOOP. And the only other thing is called the Pomodoro. So the Pomodoro, which you may or may not have heard of, is literally a tomato if you speak Italian. But the Pomodoro Method is based on this idea. In Italy and in other places, maybe at home, you might have a timer on your stove, or now you tend to use your phone or Google Home or whatever, but grandmothers usually like these things, maybe your parents. But on the stove there might be a little tomato-looking clock or some kind of timer that you hit, egg timer. And the idea behind the Pomodoro Method is that, let's say, going back to this essay, right? Let's say you want to achieve an A in your essay, but you know you're going to need to put in, let's say 5 hours of research and writing. And in order to do that, you need to put in those 5 hours, but you're never, in all honesty, going to sit down for 5 hours and work on it. And I wish I could do that, but I definitely can't either. So what you can do is do a more reasonable time, like 20 minutes, let's say. So for 20 minutes, you press your alarm, or you set your Siri to do a 20-minute alarm, or whatever the case, whatever you're using. The point is, you use a timer just like if you were cooking eggs or if you were making cookies in your stove or something, and you set the timer and you do nothing but what you have told yourself you're going to do. So in other words, you're not going to check your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever you're using. You're not going to check on the newest TV show that you heard was cool. You're not going to check your emails. You're not going to worry about anything. All you're going to do is work on whatever it is that you've decided. So maybe it's that essay, or maybe it's you're going to take notes for 20 minutes. I encourage you to do this for 20 minutes. If you're really struggling, if you have ADHD or something, you might want to set it for 5 or 10 to start. And if you are super dedicated, maybe you can do a half hour, but personally, I've never gone more than about an hour, and that's rare. Usually I do a 20-minute timer, and that's me writing books, me working on articles, 20 minutes. So try it out, and pick something that's a big task. Pick something that will probably take you 5 to 10 hours, and just do a few 20-minute sessions. And if you plan those throughout the day, throughout the week, and make sure you take a break between them, right? So after your 20 minutes, you have a new coffee or do whatever you need to do, but don't do that during the 20 minutes. You only do what you've planned, and after a little while, you realize like you've committed 5 hours to this project and you're done, and it's been no problem at all compared to if you had tried to be very strict and spent 5 hours straight doing this project. So try it out. I want you to do these 3 things this week. So the first is to think about how your workspace is organized and to think about some of the questions I'm asking. And if you're comfortable, send in a picture of your workspace just out of curiosity. Maybe we can share them all and see how our different workspaces are. And so think about how you're organizing your workspace. Try the Whoop method, at least on one thing, and like I said, you might find that it's really helpful and you use it on a lot. And then finally, try out the Pomodoro Method, which stands for tomato, or which means tomato, but it refers to that timer on your kitchen table or whatever. Oftentimes we call it egg timers in English. But yeah, set a timer for 10 to 20 minutes and do absolutely nothing. No email, no grabbing a snack for that 20 minutes. Only work on the thing that you want to work on. And like I said, this is especially good for large projects that you need to dedicate a lot of time to, but you keep pushing it off because it's too big to think about. You don't want to think about it. 20 minutes. As said, I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope your 4th week is going really well, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.